The Bean is back, and no, I'm not talking about Rowan Atkinson. Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello homies, welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Disenchantment Season 2 together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Otherwise, I'll be disenchanted with life and stop making videos. Wow, that got dark. If you don't know me by now, A, you will never ever ever know me, and B, I'm a huge fan of Simpsons and Futurama, okay? Those are kind of my jam. Simpsons has been my jam for a very long part of my life. It kind of helped me grow up. It didn't do a very good job because I'm still a man-child, but regardless, Matt Groening's animated stuff is so formative for me that Disenchantment was something I was really excited for. And after Season 1 came out and I reviewed it, and I'll put a link in the description below to my review of Season 1, you can tell I wasn't all that enchanted with it. I thought it was okay, but nothing special. Now that Season 2 is out, what's the verdict? How does the show fare now? Season 2 covers a lot more ground of story. It dives into a lot of stuff that Season 1 left behind. You know, it kind of picks up those breadcrumbs and runs with it. And there's a lot of callbacks and a few answers to some of the questions. But then, of course, Season 2 kind of drops a few more questions on you. We get a lot of really entertaining set pieces, such as a trip to hell, which I really enjoyed watching. In the Disenchantment universe, hell is laid out like an Escher painting, so that's always fun. We expand the universe and we meet a bunch of new characters, as well as come back to some familiar old ones. We get a more in-depth story about the two sort of shadowy villain figures from Season 1 who were barely in Season 1, who just kind of show up for a bit and be like, hey, what's up? I'm the villain, and they got like a cauldron or something, but then you only see them like twice. They reminded me of No Heart from the Care Bears. You guys remember the Care Bears? Where it was like 90% of the show was the Care Bears, and then every once in a while they would cut to No Heart, and he would just be like, bleh, I'm bad, and I'm still here, and then they'd cut back to the Care Bears. That's what those guys felt like to me. In Season 2, we get to see more of them, sort of. We get, I think, 2 episodes with much more of them in it, and then once again, we never see them again. This is going to be a spoiler review, FYI, but I'm not going to get too into the nitty-gritty, but I might let something slip. They brought Elfo back from the dead after his death last season, so he's now back with the crew. And I have to say, I'm really disappointed with the resolution of what happened with Elfo's body, because the whole cliffhanger post-credits scene from Season 1 was Elfo's corpse washing onto the shore of a mysterious island and being pulled away onto the shore by mysterious figures. What did that end up being? Some mermaids who were going to eat him. And that's it. It literally was just a joke, and we just see them for half an episode and then they're gone. And that right there, folks, that I think is the essence of the problem with Disenchantment. Because across the board, from what I've heard, people I've talked to, Disenchantment seems to have the same effect on everyone. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, this is okay, but nobody really loves it. Nobody is singing high heavenly hallelujah praises to Disenchantment, and I think that this is the reason why. Futurama was on the air for about, well, that was a messy scenario, but like, let's say 8 years. The Simpsons has been on the air for 31 years, still going strong with no end in sight. Even though those actors are getting very old, and if you listen to how Marge Simpson sounds now, she does not sound good. Somebody give that poor voice actress a rest, but regardless, I'm getting off topic. Matt Groening and his people, his crew, have 2 big giant shows under their belt that they have been doing for 8 years and 31 years. But those shows are very different. Those are not Netflix-style shows. Those are not serialized stories. Those are pure 22-minute long episodic chunks that are there and then they're gone. They're just one and done. Matt Groening and his crew have been doing one and done episodic chunks for 31 years. They are very good at that. However, they have never touched serialized storytelling until now, and it shows, baby. And that's the problem. I don't think that this crew of people who I love, who have formed my childhood with their humor, with the stuff they gave us in Simpsons and Futurama, I don't think they've nailed down the process of writing a story that continues from episode to episode. I think that they've just spent way too many years writing the same style of thing that to jump to something so different is a shock to their system, and they're not really getting it. That's why Disenchantment Season 1 and 2 have so many episodes that when they're over, you're like, what was the point of that? Like, there's a story we've been following. Why are we talking about some random circus elf now? Like, what does this have to do with anything? There are filler episodes in Disenchantment, folks. And when you have a Netflix show, which is built to be a serialized story, with half-hour episodes and only 10 of them, there is no excuse for doing a filler episode. None. Zero. This isn't a primetime network hour-long show that has ordered 24 episodes per season. This is a Netflix serialized 10-episode sitcom with half-hour episodes. Why do you have filler? The answer, because Matt Groening and his homies, I love them to pieces, but they don't know how to not write filler. They don't. It's clear from what we've seen, they don't know how to tell this serialized story the right way. They're still new at this. They're cutting their teeth on Disenchantment, even though they are veterans. They are absolute veterans whose writing and whose comedy and whose cartoons have affected the whole world for the better part of 3 decades. They're still cutting their teeth on this. So I think we need to give them a chance to grow and understand how this process works. I think they said there are 4 seasons planned for this show and it's going to end at 4. I'm willing to bet that when we get to the end of the 4th season, nothing's going to change much. Everybody's going to be like, okay, yeah, it got better as it went, because I do think season 2 is better than season 1. I think the show will get better as it goes, but it's not going to be a winner. You know, it's not going to have people talking. But if Groening and his pals ever decide to try another animated show on Netflix, that one, I think, is one to watch out for, because I think now they've gotten in the reeds, they've made their mistakes, they're doing this thing for the first time, and they're like, okay, here's what we did right, here's what we did wrong, and whatever show they come out with next is going to rectify those issues. As it stands now, though, Disenchantment is clearly a tank being driven by somebody who's only flown planes for 32 years. And it shows. Speaking of Matt Groening's past work, there's a lot of little Easter eggs tossed into season 2 of Disenchantment, particularly for Futurama, to the point where there's so many that I think it's not just an Easter egg anymore. I think that they're trying to tell us something. I think they're trying to work a Futurama crossover into this somehow. And that's not out of the realm of possibility, because Futurama is wacky and crazy enough that it crosses over with anything, and Disenchantment is in that same vein. We got to see very briefly that there is another land out there besides Dreamland called Steamland, and unlike the fantasy realm of Dreamland, Steamland is a steampunk city, and it's got, you know, flying dirigibles and lots of giant statues and gas lights and everything. It is Steampunk 101. And some people in Steamland, for whatever reason, have been hired to try to kill the king of Dreamland. So there's some kind of conspiracy going on. I'm assuming we're going to find out in season 3. I hope it's going to be a better reveal than who took Elfo's body, because that reveal sucked. But I love this idea of having these different worlds. Maybe there are other worlds we didn't see. Maybe there's a futuristic world. Maybe there's a Western world. I really hope that one's the case. But I'd love to see where they take that concept, and especially because there seems to be some very heavy-handed Futurama referencing going on, and Futurama is something I adore with my heart and soul. I'm really, really curious to see what that storyline culminates with. Please be something interesting. Please be something funny. Please don't disappoint me. But that was Disenchantment Season 2. That has been Thumb Together TV. Let me know what you thought. Did you like the show? Did you think it could be better? Did you think it could have been a lot better? Is it your favorite show on Netflix right now? I want to know no matter what. Let me know in the comments below. I will see you here next time, ladies and gents. Until then, adios.